How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, or no coder, your favorite auto-qualified senior software engineer. And as always, if you guys don't want access to a private repository, there's a link in the description down below that'll walk you through exactly how to get that. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and hop into what we're working on today. Today, we're going to go ahead and continue working on our CreateMessageBar area here. In last episode, we got so we can add images. Today, we want to go ahead and set it up so we can go ahead and add GIFs. This is going to include setting up some slice stuff and a little bit more complicated things. So that's why I went ahead and split it up. So that being said, let's go ahead and hop in the code and get to work here. Today, we're going to be starting out inside the modal slice. The first thing we need to go ahead and do is set up a new Boolean to be able to open up the GifModal, but except for the messages. So we're going to go ahead and say display and then message GIF, and this is going to be a Boolean. This is going to go ahead and set up down here. So we're going to go ahead and come down below this guy, and we're going to go ahead and say display message GIF will be set to false to start out if I could type. And then finally, when you go ahead and set up one down here. So at the bottom of this guy, we'll go ahead and add our, make sure I add a comma, and then update display. And this is going to be message GIF, and this is going to have the state, and this is going to go ahead and say state is equal to ... state, and then we're going to go ahead and set up display message GIF is not state .display. Maybe I can't type. Oh my goodness. Display message GIF. And this is because right now the way we have it set up is that whenever you open up the GIF modal, it always adds it to the post, which is not what we want. So we need a way to distinguish where we open it up, and that's why this needs a little bit more logic. So we're going to go ahead and return the state here, and we'll get into the other logic we need in a second. Then at the bottom here, we're going to go ahead and add update display message GIF like so. So that's good to go. Now what we need to go ahead and do is also we're going to add this to the message slice. And again, I don't love the way this is set up, but we had to work it the way we could. Just because whenever you open up the modal for the GIF, we need to be able to pass the image URL down, but we can't quite get it to where we need. So it's going to go ahead and put it into the slice. So let's go ahead and open up the message slice here. Inside the message slice, let's go ahead and add the GIF URL. So I'm just going to go ahead and do this, I guess, below the conversations or maybe below the create group or something. It doesn't really matter where we put this. We're just going to go ahead and put GIF URL, which is a string. And then down here, we're going to add it down here as well. Go ahead and say GIF URL, and this will just be an empty string to start. And then we're going to go ahead and just set up a simple update GIF URL. It doesn't really matter where this goes either. I'm just going to put it at the bottom for the time being. So here below our select conversation, we're going to go ahead and just set up update GIF URL. And then here we'll pass in the state and an action, which is a payload action of type string. And then we're going to go ahead and do this. So then we'll just say state is equal to ... state. And then we'll go ahead and pass in a GIF URL, which will be equal to action.payload. Go ahead and return the state like so, return state if I could type. And then let's go ahead and add this to our actions. So down here, I'll just add it at the end. If this starts getting pretty long, we'll go ahead and do what we did with the modal slice, but it's okay for now. Go ahead and update GIF URL. So that's good to go there. So now we need to go ahead and go through and update like basically the cascading effect of having to update the GIF modal. So first we need to go into the feed post frozen GIF component. So inside of here, what we're going to go ahead and do is inside of our frozen GIF props, we're going to go ahead and add in a handle click function, which is going to be optional. And it's going to take in a GIF, which is a string. It's going to be a void. So this is how we're going to basically pass down how we want to go ahead and handle this. Inside here, we're going to go ahead and pass this handle click. So go ahead and say handle click like so. And then we need to go ahead and set up some functionality here to handle this. So we're going to go down into the const canvas clicked. And if preview, we're going to do this. And then we're going to go ahead and add an else if here. So we're going to say else if there's a handle click function. We're going to go ahead and add that, and then we'll go ahead and add an else here for other stuff. So if there's a handle click, we're going to go ahead and just call handle click and then pass in the e.current target. So we need to pass in the event here, and we'll do that in a second. .id. So up here, we'll go ahead and pass in e, which is a react.mouse event. And this is going to be on an HTML, canvas element. like so. So now basically, if it's a preview, we'll go ahead and just fetch gifs by term. This one we don't need to change. If we pass in a handle click function, we'll go ahead and call it handle click. Otherwise, it'll do the regular logic, which is basically adding it to the post images, which is why we had to go ahead and update this. That way we can add it to the message rather than the GIF. And then finally, what we need to go do is on click. This is still fine. I don't know why I updated this. We still have handle canvas click, so that should be good to go. At least fingers crossed. So now the next step up is going to be updating the feed post creator GIF modal display. So let's hop into that component. So this is the component that kind of handles displaying all of the GIFs. So once again, we need to add in an optional handle click. So let's say handle click optional, and once again, this will be a GIF string. And this will go ahead and return void. Down here, let's go ahead and add this to the props as well. So after GIFs, we'll add in the handle click, which is optional. And once again, we're going to do something similar to this. So down where we have, there should be an add GIF, or I might create this. So we're going to say const add GIF is equal to e react.mouse event, and then go ahead and say HTML image elements. And then we'll go ahead and do the arrow function like so. So if not handle click, then we go ahead and say attach GIF to post, pass in the E, and then otherwise we're going to go ahead and handle click. We'll go ahead and pass an E dot current target. If I could type, I can't think right now, .id. And I believe this attach GIF to post already exists. Yes, it does. And then we need to go down here to where we have our autoplay or not. So here, the on click, instead of being on click, we'll go ahead and say add GIF. And then down here, we also need to go ahead and add a handle click. So let's go down to our frozen component. Handle click will be equal to handle click, and then here, if we do have a handle click or pass down, we'll go ahead and call it. Otherwise, we'll ignore it. So that is also good to go. Originally, I'd forgotten about this frozen GIF, so we're almost done propagating all of this. Now we need to actually go into the feed post creator GIF modal and update that. So let's hop into that component. So we just have a couple more things to update here. So once again, we're going to go ahead and say interface, and we probably didn't need to do it like this, but it is what it is. Feed post creator GIF modal props, and then here we're going to say handle click, which is going to be optional. Once again, we'll go ahead and pass in a GIF, which will be a string, and this will go ahead and return a void. Then let's go ahead and add this to our feed post creator GIF. So once again, we'll say feed post creator GIF modal props, go ahead and break apart our handle click like so. And then all we need to do is we need to come down to our feed post creator display. And once again, we're going to go ahead and just add the handle click and handle click. So then if we pass along a handle click, we can go ahead and deal with that. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and do the normal thing and add it to the post. So this isn't too bad yet. We still need to go ahead and add one more thing. Let's go into the feed post creator modal top. So we need to know or determine which one of these is open. Now we can actually close it properly. So we're going to go ahead and come down here to where our search term is. And we're going to go ahead and say const, and modal state is equal to use selector state root states, and then we're going to go ahead and return state.modal. And then whenever we go ahead and close it, we're going to go ahead and do some logic. So let's find where our handle close is. So here, instead of just update display GIF, we're going to say if our modal.display, this should be modal state, modal state.display GIF, then we're going to go ahead and dispatch update display GIF. But we're going to say if our modal state and then dot display message GIF. I don't know why message GIF. It's because I didn't type right. Display message GIF. Oh my goodness. If this, we're going to go ahead and dispatch. We're going to go ahead and dispatch update display message GIF. like so. So depending on which one is open, we want to go ahead and open or close it. This was causing issues because when you click on it, it would open up the wrong thing or close the wrong thing. So we need to also pay attention to that. So now the last thing to get this GIF thing to open properly, we need to go into the modal container. So let's hop in there. Inside the modal container, unfortunately, we're going to have to add some logic, which I'm not a huge fan of. Let's start out with const display, and this is going to be message GIF is equal to use selector. And I probably could have done this a lot better, but it is what it is. So this would be state root state. We're going to go ahead and return state.modal.display, whoops, message GIF. I could have just like broken these apart within whatever it's called, but it is what it is. So here we're going to go set up a const dispatch, which is an app dispatch equal to use dispatch. Then below our use dispatch, we're going to say const add GIF to message equal to URL, which is a string, and do our arrow function. And here we're going to go ahead and dispatch update GIF URL like so. And we'll go ahead and pass in that URL, and then we'll go ahead and dispatch our update display message GIF to go ahead and close it. So I don't love this logic being in here, but since this is where opening up the display for the modal, that's where it has to be. Go ahead and display message GIF, and we go ahead and say feed post creator, and this is GifModal, and we'll pass in a handle click, which is going to get passed down. Add GIF to message like so, and that should pass everything we need. And let's see, I added this in the wrong place, so let's go ahead and fix that. Pretty it up a little bit, and I made it worse. There we go. So now in theory we should be able to like open it up, although we are going to need to set up a little bit of logic inside of our message thing. So let's go into our CreateMessageBar and set that up. So inside of our CreateMessageBar, let's come to the top. Let's go and bring in a dispatch. If we don't have one, it doesn't look like it, so we're going to go ahead and do one of these. We'll say const and then dispatch. This will be an app dispatch equal to use dispatch. If I could type, there we go. We're going to go ahead and update our send active. So now with send active, it's also going to be message GIF. Although this we might need to update. I think I might have messed this part up, so I forgot to update this. So I'm going to go ahead and also bring in some state here. I'm going to go ahead and say const, and how do we want to do this? We'll say const message GIF is equal to use selector. And this will be state root state, and then we'll say state dot message dot GIF URL. I don't know how I missed this. And then what we can go ahead and do is come back down here again and say or message GIF not equal to an empty string. So if any of those, we'll go ahead and do that. And then we need to set up a const display GIF to actually pop up the GIF. So let's go ahead and say equal to this. Once again, this is just going to be dispatch and update display message GIF like so, and that part is good to go. And now we just need to go ahead and actually display it whenever we open it. So let's come down to our GIF SVG, and in here we're going to go ahead and say on click is equal to display GIF, and let's see if we can just get this to open up properly before we go ahead and try adding any GIFs, just to make sure I haven't broken anything and everything's somewhat working properly. So let's hop into the front end here. Let's go and just refresh it for the heck of it. Let's go into our messages, open up Brick, and hopefully if we click on this, it pops it up. I don't know why it's not loading. That's interesting. There we go. It must just be being slow. I'm a little bit concerned, or I wonder if I'm getting a 400. No, it's just being slow. Okay, so that works fine. Now, whether or not we actually like click on these, they actually add is another thing. We could possibly look and print and stuff, but I like to fly by the seat of my pants. So let's just try to set it up to go into the message image and just see what happens here. Let's hop into the message image. Inside the message image, let's go ahead and set up some state. So this is going to be some state that gets or some logic that gets kind of recreated from some of the other, like the image frozen and stuff. So we're going to say const play gif, and set play gif equal to use state, and this will be a boolean, and this will go ahead and start out as false. And we also need to go ahead and say const canvas ref is equal to use ref, and this is going to be of type HTML canvas element, and then we're going to go ahead and start this out as null. And then we're also going to have a const image ref equal to use ref, and this is going to be an HTML image element, and we're also going to start this out as null. Okay, and then below our const open editor, we're going to go ahead and say const freeze gif is equal to, and again, like I said, this is basically copy paste from some other stuff. If our canvas, like a type ref, and our canvas ref.current, and our image ref, and our image ref.current. So of all of these, we're going to go ahead and say const height is equal to 150, const width is equal to 150. We're going to say canvas ref.current.width will be equal to our height. We'll say canvas ref.current dot height. This should be width. And I don't know if we even needed these anyway, but it is what it is equal to height. Const context is going to be equal to canvas ref dot current dot get context, and this is going to be 2D. I don't know what the problem. I spelled this wrong. Let's fix this canvas ref because it's going to drive me mad. And we're going to go ahead and check. So we're going to say if context is not equal to null, then we're going to go ahead and say context dot draw image. We're going to draw it on the image ref. We're going to go ahead image ref dot current. I'm sorry. We're going to go ahead and say 0 width and height. So we're going to draw it starting at 0 0 across the width and height. And then now what we need to go and do is just set up a handle play gif and set up the background image. So here we're going to say const handle play gif is equal to an e react maybe dot mouse event. And then here we're going to go ahead and say e dot stop propagation. Then we're going to say set play gif. We're going to set up an arrow function and pass in play here. And then we're going to go ahead and return not play. And I feel like I might be missing bringing in the gif. Let me double check something here. Yeah, so we also need to go ahead and bring in some state. I'm going to say const message gif is equal to use selector. And I just realized we're missing this state root state, and go ahead and bring in state.message or gif URL like so. Now we can continue here. The last thing we need to go ahead and do is set up a use effect and also determine the URL. So we're going to say const background image is equal to an arrow function. And here we're going to say if our message gif is not equal, or this one we are checking if it's equal to an empty string, then we're going to go ahead and return this image thing here. So let's go ahead and copy this, go ahead and paste it up there. Let's go ahead and get rid of that line. And then otherwise, if we do have a message gif, we're going to return play gif. And if so, we're going to say message state. And this is not message state, this is a message gif dot gif URL, except I did this slightly differently. Otherwise, it would be like that. There we go. And now inside the URL, instead of having the message, this image URL, we're going to have background image, and we're going to go ahead and call that function. So that should allow us to deal with that. And now we need to go ahead and deal with the play gif and all that stuff, which isn't very fun. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're just going to go and add another div here, I believe, except we're gonna go ahead and say not play gif and not image. And I think this is where it goes. We'll have to see. We're gonna have a div with a class name equal to message-gif-play, message-image-icon-wrapper, and then message-image-play-hover. That's slightly different. Inside, we're gonna have a GIF that we need to bring in, so we're gonna have to wait on that. And then we're gonna have another not play GIF and not image. And then here we're gonna go ahead and have a div on click equal to handle play GIF, and then inside we're gonna have an image, and this is the part that it actually like displays. src is going to be equal to our GIF URL. This is the image that is used to freeze. So ref is going to be equal to image ref, and it's going to be hidden. And then we're going to have our canvas with a ref equal to canvas ref. And then on click is going to equal to handle play GIF. And then the canvas isn't going to have anything inside of it like that. And let's see what's going on. Image source, GIF URL. This should be message GIF actually. Message GIF, I think. There we go. So now if it's not playing, we don't have an image. If we don't have an image, that means we should have a message GIF, and that should be fine. And then below this guy, we're going to go ahead and have another message GIF. And then if we have a message GIF, we're going to have a div with a class name equal to message-gif-bottom-text. And inside the bottom text, we're going to go ahead and say via, and then we need to add an icon. And then we're also going to have a p tag class name equal to message-gif-tenor-text. And this is going to say tenor. We're just hard coding this because we're not having other places to get text or GIFs from, so it's always going to be tenor. So that's good to go. So now we need two icons. We need this play GIF icon, and we also need this tenor icon. So let's go ahead and start out with a play GIF. Let's hop back into Twitter. I'll show you guys where to get this. So once again, let's get rid of this guy. Let's go ahead and open this guy up and open up GIFs. I'm just going to click on a random one. It doesn't really matter. Tenor must just be really slow today. And I'll do this. So this one's via Giphy. So let me find one that's via tenor. There we go. So what we need first off is we need this circle icon here. We need this SVG. We're going to get rid of the circle, and we're just going to keep the path. So let's just go ahead and copy this guy. Copy image. Then let's go ahead and open up our Explorer. Let's go up to our components in SVGs, and we're going to go ahead and say play GIF svg.tsx. Now this one is kind of annoying to deal with, so bear with me here. Import, and we need our SVG props. If I could actually write this properly, SVG props from our global interfaces. Let's export default function and then play GIF SVG. We'll go ahead and have our props, which is SVG props return, and then go ahead and paste that. So let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit, and I'll be right back. So you can see here we have this circle. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that because we only want the triangle. We also want to go ahead and get rid of this class. So let's go ahead and delete this. And let's also get rid of this fill because we're going to go ahead and fill it with the color that we want instead, which will be white, but you never know, we might want to change it later. So now we're going to go ahead and say height is equal to props.height. And our width is equal to props.width. And we're going to go ahead and also set up the fill. So let's say fill is equal to, and then we'll have props.color question mark. If that's the case, we'll set to props.color. Otherwise, we'll set it to #000, which is black. There we go. So let's go ahead and we could add that in a second, but let's also go ahead and grab the GIF icon. So once again, all you'll want to go ahead and do is come in here and just right click on this icon and save image as, and you should be good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that into our assets folder really quickly. Now you can see we have our GIF icon.png. So that's good to go. Let's go and hop back into our message image here. So first off, let's come down here to our play GIF and let's go and add our play GIF SVG. So we're going to go ahead and say play GIF SVG. The height is going to be 60. The width is going to equal to 60. It's a little bit big, but it is what it is. And then the color is going to equal to pound FFF, which is white, and that one should be good to go. And then let's come down to our image here. So it's going to say via, say IMG, and then height is equal to 16. The width is equal to 16, and the SRC, which we need to bring this in. This is going to be GIF icon, and then alt will also equal to GIF icon. Let's go ahead and actually bring in the GIF icon from our assets. So let's come over here. We'll import our GIF icon we'll go all the way back to our assets here. So assets / GIF _ icon is what I called it. You guys can call it whatever you want. And this is a PNG, I believe. PNG, there we go, and that should be good to go. So now what we need to go ahead and do is finish up the CSS for our message image. So let's hop into the CSS. We need a couple more classes here. So we need our dot message -gif -play. So this is going to go and wrap our play icon. So once again, whoops, width will be 60 px, height will be 60 px. We're going to have a position of absolute. This one goes in the center, so top will be 50%. The left will be 50%, and this is why it didn't matter where it goes, because it's going to get absolute position anyway. We have a transform of translate. There we go. And this is going to be -50% and -50%. Put it in the middle. If I could type, that'd be cool. 50%. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and have a background color, which is going to be slightly different. It's going to be RGBA. It's starting out a little bit darker, 0.4. Okay, we have a dot, maybe, message, GIF, play, hover. Again, this one's slightly different. Still have a cursor pointer on it, but it's going to have a background -color. RGBA 0,0,0.7, so a little bit darker. I have a dot message -gif -bottom -text. Here we're gonna have a padding on this of 4px, 0, 12px, 8px. That I think I stole from Twitter. Display will be flex. We're gonna have an align items in the center, a small gap of 4px, a font -size of 15px. We'll have a font -weight of 400, and then the color, a pound 657786. Finally, we have a dot message -gif -tenor -text. Here, margin will be 0. Padding will be 0. We'll have a thicker font weight, so font -weight will be 800. So now I'm sure I messed something up in there, but all we have left to do is go ahead and add this into our CreateMessageBar component. So let's hop into there. So now what we want to go ahead and do is come down here to our message images, and below the message image, we'll go ahead and check for a message GIF. And if there's a message GIF, we'll go ahead and say message image. We're not going to add an image, but remove image will equal to. We'll go ahead and do an arrow function here, and we'll go ahead and dispatch. We're going to go ahead and dispatch update GIF URL to an empty string. I'm assuming I added the message GIF there? Hopefully I did. Seems like I did. So if there's a message GIF, we might want to actually say message GIF is not equal to an empty string, just to be safe, because sometimes funky things can happen. So now, theoretically, if we create a message GIF, it should go ahead and add it to our state, and then it should go ahead and display it. Now, is it actually going to happen? I'm not sure. Let's go ahead and test it out. We might do a little bit of debugging here before we wrap up the episode. So let's hop into the front end and see what happens. So let's give it a refresh as custom. Let's go ahead and open up messages. Go ahead and click on Rick. Hopefully this opens. We'll give it a second here. We might need like a loading screen or something. It seems like the GIFs are just taking a long time to load. And if we click on excited, maybe it's still taking a long time to load. I'm not sure what the deal is with this, but it is what it is. Click on this. So this doesn't quite line up right and something's not quite working, but you can see via tenor is still working. This is working. That's working. So for some reason, the background image isn't quite right. So let's go ahead and check in on the background image. And if you click off of it, it's working. Okay, so something isn't quite lining up right here. So let's just double check some things. So this is still lined up properly because we also need to go ahead and add this as well. So we need to go ahead and add the message GIF not equal to an empty string. So that's one issue that I forgot to add in there. Let's see how it looks now. Maybe refresh it. Open this up. Let's see here. Not message image. This one might need to be message image equal to an empty string. There we go. Open this. Add a GIF. Okay, that looks a lot better. Now the only issue now, one that doesn't look 50 by 150 by 150, but I digress. For whatever reason, it's not opening or the background's not working quite right. So let me look into the background issue here. So something's not quite right with the message image. It's because, you know what, we forgot the use effect. So let me go ahead and deal with that as well, I think. So let's go ahead and set up the use effect. Let's come down here, use effect, go and bring that in. I don't know why the on click's not working, so I'll have to figure out what's going on with that as well. But anytime play GIF loads or changes, we'll go ahead and do this. We'll say if not play GIF, we'll go ahead and call freeze and then GIF like so. Go ahead and save that. Let's go ahead and see what's happening now. Let's go ahead and refresh. Now if we go ahead and open up our messages, go to Rick, go ahead and open up a GIF, let it load, go ahead and add excited. Sure, now it's frozen. I don't know why clicking on the actual play button is not doing anything, and clicking on this is not doing anything. So we need to go ahead and see what's going on with that really quick. So whenever we click on the image, you know what? I think we might have forgotten to add on the image itself. So message image, we need to add an on click on this guy. On click is equal to handle play GIF. I'm just really bad at reading this morning, I think, and just read right over because I was worried about this background image. Let's try one last time. So now if we click on it, it freezes. We click on it, it opens. There we go. So now that should basically be everything that we need to be able to actually be able to send messages. So next episode, I'm gonna go through and basically compile everything we need to create a message. So like the text, who we're sending it to, if there's an image, if there's a GIF. It doesn't really matter if there's an emoji because if there's emoji, it's gonna be text. But next episode, I want to go ahead and finally get messages set up on the back end and then maybe start thinking about also sending them back and forth with the WebSocket and everything else. So as always, guys, hope you did enjoy. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Everything helps out here with the YouTube algorithm. If you guys do want to see where we started from absolute scratch to get to the point we are now, I'm starting to go ahead and leave the playlist inside of the end screen. So go ahead and check that out as well. But as always, guys, this has been Ethan Uncoder. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.